What up, folks? Cajun Blaze here, and today we're going to talk about my Buck 110. The Buck 110 has been around for 40 plus years. Anybody you talk to that's a knife person who enjoys knives, who take a knife and work with it and use it as a cutting tool, you'll more than likely, maybe not 100% of the time, but you'll more than likely find someone who has a Buck 110 in their collection. In my opinion, if you're going to collect knives, you might as well have a Buck 110 in your collection. And I bought this knife, this particular knife here, a couple years ago, and it's become part of my collection. I have had Buck 110. It was probably one of my first knives that I ever had as a kid. But you know how kids are. They lose things, and I lost my first Buck 110 that I ever had. But it's just something that, while this is not a knife that you're going to carry with you every day, it's just something that you have to have in your collection, in my opinion. Now, if you live in a more country type area, like around here, sometimes you'll see just around town some of these old timers who walk around and they still carry that knife on their belt in the leather sheath. And this is the leather sheath that I have for my Buck 110. It is mine did come, I bought mine at Walmart. It came with a nylon sheath, and I really didn't care for that too much, so I got rid of the nylon sheath, and I went to, there's a leather store here where I live, and picked up this leather sheath for my Buck 110, just because I thought that it was, you know, something that this knife needed a leather sheath for it to sit in. So that's what I did. I went and picked me up a leather sheath. The blade on this particular knife, the Buck 110, is a clip point blade. It has a nail nick right here for you to open it easily with. You just pop your nail in there and open it up. This is, I think in 1962, Buck started making this knife, or somewhere around there. And this is just, when you talk about folding knives, this is the kind of knife that most people had with them to take with them, either hunting or fishing, or you know, they go and trap some alligators with the swamp people. They're gonna have a knife like this in their possession. Very, very sharp. It's made with 420 high carbon steel. The blade length is 3.75 inches long, and it's very sharp. Right out of the box, it comes razor sharp. I like the fact that it's still made here in the U.S. Buck 110 on the blade. Let's see if we can get that to focus. And it's got USA right there at the bottom. It does have the lockback for the lock. Smooth yet rugged. Easy opening. You just pinch it down there. Kind of very similar to my K-bar Dozier design Hunter. The lockback is down here just like the Buck 110, and it's got this natural wood grain for the wood inlays, and then the brass bolters on the edge, and also brass for the handle, and then you can see the wood inlays just sit right there on top of the brass. Let you look at that. Now, this is not one of these knives where you're going to throw in your pocket and not feel it. You put this in the bottom of your pocket, it's going to have a heavy weight of 7.2 ounces. So it'll be jingling around with your change if it's down at the bottom of your pocket. That's why most people that carry a knife like this is going to put that in a knife sheath, a leather sheath, so that they don't feel it as much on their belt. Beautiful knife. I mean, this is just a classic design. I think they also make a couple of the Buck 110s have these little grooves right here for your finger grooves. Make it easier to grip. There's no jimping on here, nothing like that. This is not really a tactical knife. Like I said, this knife is just a signature design, high quality, reliable folder, and it's used mostly for hunting, fishing, you know, just everyday farm chores, if you will. You're walking around the farm and you need a good quality knife, this is the kind of knife to have. Now, my little nephew had a knife like this, and I usually take this knife with me when I go camping, just to have as a backup, but the point on it is very, very sharp. And I did see him stab a piece of wood, You stab that piece of wood and he bent it the wrong way and it snapped that point off. So you must be careful with that. It's brittle enough to where if you abuse it, it will pop right off. We'll go ahead and lay this down and I'll show you some comparisons with the Spyderco Paramilitary 2. Lay that side by side. And we'll also show you what the Buck 110 looks like to the large Sebenza 21. You know, right there. I'll kind of give you some comparisons. Raise the camera up. Spyderco Paramilitary 2, Buck 110, and the Chris Reeves large Sebenza 21. 3 great knives, all made in the US of A. So anyway, it's my little video on the Buck 110. If you're going to have a knife collection and you're going to collect knives, especially if you're just starting off with knives, collecting knives, I highly recommend that you go down to your local hardware store, Walmart, hunting supply store, Academy, whatever. They sell these things all over the place, and you can get them for about 30 bucks. Go pick up your Buck 110. Support the United States of America and get you a good signature knife made by Buck. Because not all Bucks are made here in the US anymore, but they're still making the Buck 110 here in the USA. Thank y'all for watching. Y'all have a wonderful day. And the Cajun Blaze always says, not A, not B, but see ya. Y'all take care.